The old silverback gorilla's hand trembled as he reached for mine. His fingers, massive and leather-worn, wrapped around my palm with impossible gentleness. Then I saw it, a single tear rolling down his wrinkled silver face. He remembered me. After 20 years in the heart of the Congo jungle, this giant had been waiting. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how a gorilla saved my life, and why I owe him everything. My name is Leo, and I've lived my entire life with a mystery I couldn't solve. There was this scent, damp earth, wild orchids, and something warm, something that felt like safety. It haunted my dreams. I'd wake up in the middle of the night with this overwhelming feeling that I'd forgotten someone important. Everyone told me I was lucky to be alive. When I was 2 years old, my parents and I were on a small charter plane flying over the Congo. Engine failure. We went down hard into the deepest part of the jungle. The official story? Rescue teams found me 3 days later, sitting in a clearing, completely unharmed. Not a scratch, not even hungry. Miracle baby, the newspapers called me. Sole survivor. But here's what they didn't put in the reports. I should have died. The temperature drops to near freezing at night. Leopards hunt in those forests, snakes, insects. A 2-year-old child had no chance. So how did I survive 3 days alone? I wasn't alone. 20 years later, I became a wildlife biologist. I specialized in great apes, and I convinced my research team to let me return to the crash site. I told them it was for scientific documentation. That was a lie. I needed to know what happened to me.
How vast this forest is, and the patterns of the treetops are so.
The local guides warned me about the old ghost of the mountain, a solitary silverback gorilla who'd lived near the crash site for decades. Unusually aggressive toward humans, they said. Stay away. But as we trekked deeper into the jungle, something felt familiar. That scent, it was everywhere. My hands started shaking. Then I found it. The rusted skeleton of the plane, swallowed by vines and moss, and sitting beside a twisted piece of wing was the largest gorilla I'd ever seen. His fur was almost completely white. His face was deeply lined. He sat motionless, staring at the wreckage like he was guarding a grave. My guide grabbed my arm. We should go, now. But I couldn't move, because in that moment, a buried memory surfaced. Not visual, but visceral. The feeling of a massive chest rising and falling beneath my cheek. The taste of overripe fruit. The rumble of a heartbeat that wasn't my own. I took a step forward. Barney, I whispered. The gorilla's head snapped toward me. The researchers who found me didn't tell the whole story. They couldn't explain it, so they left it out of the official report. But one of them, Dr. Sarah Chen, tracked me down years later and told me the truth. When the rescue helicopter spotted me, I wasn't alone in that clearing. A massive silverback gorilla was holding me against his chest, shielding me from the rotor-wash with his body. The rescue team panicked. Gorillas are incredibly strong. One blow could kill a child. They prepared tranquilizer darts, but the gorilla didn't attack. Instead, he stood up slowly, cradled me in his arms like I weighed nothing, and walked to a flat rock in the middle of the clearing. He placed me down gently. Then he stepped back into the shadows and waited. Only when a human hand reached for me did he finally retreat into the forest. Dr. Chen said she'd never seen anything like it. This wild gorilla had protected a human infant for 3 days, fed me, kept me warm through the freezing nights, fought off predators. And then, he let me go, but apparently he never left. For 20 years he stayed near that crash site. Locals said he was territorial, aggressive. They didn't understand. He wasn't guarding territory. He was keeping a promise. I stood 10 feet away from Barney, my heart hammering in my chest. His clouded eyes studied me, then he caught my scent. The change was instant. His massive body began to tremble. He stood up, slowly, arthritically, and made a sound I'll never forget. Not a roar, not a threat display, a whimper. He walked toward me, knuckles dragging, making the soft grunting sound mother gorillas make to comfort their babies. I reached out with a shaking hand. Barney didn't beat his chest. He didn't show dominance. This 400-pound silverback, one of the most powerful creatures on Earth, took my hand in his enormous fingers and brought it to his face. That's when the tear fell. He pressed his forehead against mine. His breath was warm, smelling of wild fruit and earth, that scent I'd carried all these years. He'd been waiting for me to come home. Barney passed away peacefully 3 months after our reunion. I was there, holding his hand, as his breathing slowed and finally stopped. The locals helped me bury him near the crash site, the place he'd chosen to spend his life. People ask me what I learned from Barney. Here's what I tell them. We think of humans as the evolved ones, the civilized ones. We think animals operate on instinct, not emotion. But a wild gorilla saved my life and waited 20 years for me to return. He loved me, not because of what I was, but despite what I was. That's not instinct, that's a promise. And promises don't need words.